G'day there, mates. My name is Mr. Magilla-Cutti. Welcome back once again to my channel. Today is going to be another video from Marvel's Midnight Suns. So today is going to be the first set of conversations between Hunter and the rest of the whole group. There's only about one more video after this one, so please bear with me while I get this out of the way. And look forward to for the challenges that I've been uploading later on. Anyway, enjoy.
Your mother may be one of the greatest challenges I have ever faced.
She is a formidable foe, but I have faith we will prevail.
I admire your conviction. What unnerves me the most is her ability to control others against their will.
You could ask Wanda what it is like.
Yes, she could provide some insight, but what do you think? What does it feel like to be under Lilith's control?
I imagine it is a fuzzy, out-of-body experience. Much like a half-remembered nightmare.
I remember too many nightmares already. I don't need another horrific experience kicking around in my head. You know, I have a similar ability to hypnotically charm others.
So you can control people against their will?
It is a bit taxing for me, and anyone with a strong sense of will can break free of my control. But yes, though now I wonder what my victims experience.
Doctor, did you ever try...
To control you?
Yes, I have a strong will. I would fight it.
I would expect no less. Of course, that is exactly what I want you to believe.
Doctor...
You are feeling very forgetful. You will not remember this conversation. You will also wait on me hand and foot.
How about I feed you your feet instead?
Ah, look at that. You have broken the spell. You are strong-willed indeed. This is more amazing than Spider-Man.
You know, I was obsessed with the sun as a kid. A huge nuclear reactor fueling all light and life in our solar system. And then looking up at the stars at night and realizing there were other nuclear reactors, some of them even bigger and brighter, probably supporting planets just like ours. I was blown away.
And now?
I want to say I still am, but I saw countless stars while I was in the Kree Star Force. White dwarfs, red giants, even a couple of neutrino stars. Sadly, the sense of wonder eventually wears off, like most things.
It sounds like you miss that sense of wonder.
A part of me does, I guess. But I can't really complain. These powers opened a lot of doors. Makes you wonder where I'd be if the Kree's Psyche Magnetron hadn't turned my imagination into reality. Would I still be in the Air Force? Or NASA? Or maybe something completely out of left field, like a social media influencer with a famous cat. What would the life of regular Carol Danvers look like?
You would have found new ways to break boundaries and set new records. Probably break those as well.
I do love the sound of a glass ceiling shattering, and it would be nice to know that I did it with no extraterrestrial help, so to speak. That's a thought. Maybe in another life. But for now, you're stuck with me in this one.
Doctor, I do not see a medical journal in your hand. Are you relaxing?
Ah, yes. It was finally time for a break. as they say in my home country, Pame Volta. I'm taking a stroll.
Where are you from originally?
Nafplio. It is a beautiful coastal city in the Peloponnese in Greece. You should visit sometime.
I imagine it is hard to be so far from home for so long.
Yes. But it was a lifetime ago. There is not much for me there these days. The young boy who once walked those shores has become a monster. I fear I would not recognize it. And it would not recognize me.
So why did you leave?
My childhood was good, but it was not easy. My disease often prevented me from going outside, and my social interaction was limited. After university, I continued my research to find a cure for my affliction. For that, I had to follow the money out of the country.
Did you ever catch the money?
Some of it. But gaining proper funding was always a battle. I wish I had access to Tony's financial planners back then.
Tony does not need to chase money. Money seems to run to him.
Thinking on the past conjures painful memories, Hunter. It's funny. The more I try to run from my past, the more I realize that my fortunes haven't changed.
What do you mean?
I cured a blood disease, only to trade it for a blood obsession. I'm still hideously disfigured, and I remain a shut-in who endlessly pores over books.
Your past does not dictate your future. You can break this cycle.
I appreciate that, Hunter. We have a word for people like you back in Greece, Hunter. It's Philos.
What does that mean?
Friend.
I almost sent my astral form to cover more ground.
That means you were trying to ghost me?
I caution against speaking in modern vernacular as it rapidly evaporates from the pool of youthful lexicon. Then magic will say you are uncool. Ah, yes. Our last conversation afforded me valuable insight into my current state of being. Your continued confidence and honesty with me have rekindled some of my own belief in myself.
The Sorcerer Supreme is a role only one mortal in a generation can hold.
Fancy titles impress the illusion of rank upon the world, but that's all it is. A name for one who understands much, and yet so little at the same time. I am merely a man with a very useful set of skills who worked to fill a niche.
Everyone must seek their own salvation, myself included.
And still there you are, Hunter, at the forefront of every battle. If I must see myself, then you must glimpse yourself as well. You have my gratitude, Hunter.
Perhaps the Sorcerer Supreme could conjure me up an ice cream cone?
Due to Stark's contractual obligations, I can only offer Avengers-themed flavors. Nobody needs the caloric marvel that is Hulka burning love. A single scoop is a meal unto itself. Hunter, no matter what the outcome of our struggle is, you have not given up on me. That is a bond that carries beyond words and worlds.
You've been incredibly patient with me, Hunter. I think it's time for me to tell you the truth.
It sounds very ominous when you put it that way.
As we've discussed before, I'm not used to opening up. But it's important that you know how I work. My emotions influence the weather. If I'm angry enough, I can cause the air around me to turn into gusts of wind. If I'm sad, the clouds will fill with water and cause rain. Do you notice a pattern?
That emotions cause bad things to happen.
Sounds like something I would say as a teenager.
Is it only bad emotions?
Not usually, but since those are what I feel most deeply, it tends to be.
Wow, that is intense. How do you deal with it?
Practice.
That does not sound like a way to live.
It is if it keeps my loved ones and my team safe. I need to exercise precise control over my emotions, or else I risk their lives.
I am sorry.
Don't pity me, Hunter. I may not be as old as you, but I've learned to manage. Isn't that all we can do?
When you say it like that, it makes it sound like you were putting up with it.
We all are, don't you think? None of us asked for our powers. What we do with them, and how we react to their quirks is up to us.
It is hard to argue with that.
I made a pretty convincing case, I know.
Thank you for sharing this with me. I know it was difficult for you.
You deserve to know. Now I just need a lesson in letting go.
Letting go of your need for control?
Easier said than done, right? Control has always been a constant for me. I can control my feelings if I pause and take a breath. I can control how my team perceives me. I can control the weather. The weather does not control me. Any advice?
Trust that you know what you are capable of. Change is difficult, but you are equipped to handle it.
Wow. That was very insightful, Hunter. Thank you.
It comes with age.
That it does. It isn't every day that I'm vulnerable. I appreciate your willingness to stick by me.
We are a team. Of course I am going to be here.
Never change, Hunter.
I'm getting used to the Abbey. Didn't think I'd like it at first. Monks lived here isn't on my list of preferred amenities.
What changed your mind?
It reminds me of a Kree outpost. Mostly solitary, but you have your team around. Enough contact with civilization to avoid going loopy.
Is it difficult for you to live so remotely?
You kidding? It's great. First, you have a perfect excuse to ditch unwanted social engagements. Second, you can focus on the mission at hand, very few distractions. And third, you know you're going home at the end. What about you? You died here, so I bet you have some complicated thoughts about this place.
It seems the bad memories of this place outnumber the good ones.
I had a place like that. When you're done with all this, you can leave. For good, if you want. Don't believe anyone who says you have to come back. Do what's best for you. If that's the Abbey in your rear view, so be it. I'll help you pack your bags.
Thanks, Carol.
Of course. Your present game is top-notch.
Do you ever feel, I don't know, out of place?
What do you mean?
I mean that we're living with the Avengers.
So?
So, I'm the guy who stops bag snatchers and ATM thieves. Each one of them saved the whole world like 5 times, minimum.
From what I hear, New York City is a better place with you in it.
Right, but the whole world is a better place because of the Avengers.
They each had to start somewhere. You started in Queens. Now you are here to save the world.
Huh, I guess you're right. Thanks. I just needed to get that off my chest.
Anytime.
Aw, you didn't need to do that.
Wanda was supposed to become you.
Oh?
Caretaker would not bring back the Hunter, so Wanda had to be the new Hunter. Replacing you was too much to ask of her.
That was unfair to Wanda.
You see it too. Caretaker pushed her away. Agatha pushed her too hard. Then the accident.
Now it seems I am Wanda's replacement.
Not to me, Hunter. You are incapable of replacing her.
I did not mean to offend.
Yet you did.
All right.
Chill out, Hunter. I'm teasing you. A thoughtful gift. How unanticipated. I like to come here, away from all the noise.
It is heartwarming that I am not noise to you.
Obviously, you're better than that. Maybe even, my equal.
Why just an equal? I think I have demonstrated my prowess is at a level far beyond that. Maybe you can even learn a thing or two from me.
Cute. I'll assume that you didn't mean to say that you can teach me.
I will draft a lesson plan. Get a curriculum in order. Maybe ask Strange to teach a class or two.
These are the words of someone begging for death. The extremely painful kind of death. Good for you that it would be a shame to kill you. You're the first hero I've met that would impress even the likes of Mephisto.
That does not sound appealing.
Better to impress the Prince of Lies than to provoke his contempt. What he respects, he also fears. I will never apologize for being comfortable with my darkness, and neither should you.
The darkness is ours to wield. It is our strength. There is no shame in owning up to what we are and what we can do.
You are right, Hunter. More than right. I needed an ally and a friend like you for a long time. Someone that embraces their darkness and makes me feel comfortable with mine.
I am honored I can be that friend to you, Ileana.
It was an unexpected gift, but one I am happy to receive. When this battle is over, you should come back with me. Join the X-Men.
Is that your plan? Rejoining the X-Men?
Maybe. Piotr would love it if I came back.
What about Nico, Robbie, and Blade, the Midnight Suns? You would really leave them?
Once you are a son, you never really leave, no matter where you go. In any case, I hope we can continue fighting side by side in the future. If there is a future, that is.
Ileana, you and the Suns are the future. At least, you have given me hope for it.
Don't get too sentimental on me, Hunter. I was just beginning to like you.
Something on your mind?
How do you lead people?
Inspiring words, an elevated position, and good sightlines on the shield.
Not you specifically. In general, how does a leader lead?
That's an easy question with a complex answer. Tell me this, what type of leader would you follow?
Before I follow anyone, I need to trust them.
Sometimes a leader has to step up amidst a chaotic situation. They may not have time to gain your trust.
No, but when leaders do, it inspires me to do more. To do better.
It's good that you're thinking about this, now that you're actually in charge.
So what does Captain America think I should do?
I found there's no right way to lead, but a heck of a lot of wrong ones.
But there must be ways to rise to the challenge.
The best advice I ever received was, you don't need to be the perfect leader, but you do need to lead.
And how have you led over the years?
I always did what I thought was right. No more, no less.
And doing what is right is not always enough. When that happens, how do you recover?
I don't dwell on my mistakes, but I have to learn from them. It's a responsibility I don't take lightly. Ideally, leadership humbles you, especially with teams structured like ours. You need to inspire before you can command. At least, that's how I see it. Everyone who leads comes to their own conclusion. Let me know when you come to yours. You're too kind. I appreciate it. One can get lost in thought staring at such a force of nature. Storms come and go, ships wrecked, and men lost. But the ocean persists.
Something on your mind, Captain.
What do you make of our chances to get out of this mess in one piece?
Are you worried, Captain?
I want to say, not in the slightest, but there's no point in lying to you, Hunter. I can say that I'm not as worried as I used to be, seeing how far you've come. I want you to know I'm proud of you, Hunter. You've become a leader I would gladly follow into the heat of battle, no matter how high the flames.
I will do my best to match your high and possibly unrealistic level of confidence.
I already know you will. You've got to appreciate the irony. The kid of the Mother of Demons is the one that will lead us to victory.
And so I said, "Get your hand off that lady's purse, or I'll eat your spleen."
That is one way to take care of a situation. What happened next?
Well, I went home hungry that night.
I hate battling on an empty stomach.
Oh yeah, these days, I always have a snack before going on patrol.
Is it hard to have a symbiote constantly affecting your emotions?
Actually, my symbiote often keeps me grounded. Its emotions certainly influence mine, but it never makes me do anything I don't want.
Threatening cannibalism is not level-headed.
Hey, you don't know what I was like before I bonded with the symbiote. And it's not cannibalism, since the alien does most of the digestion. I stand by the technicality. You really know how to show an alien suit and its host a good time.
Just two BSFs spending time together.
What is a BSF?
Best Spider-Man friend, which is yours truly. I mean, I don't want to presume or anything, but I think our trust and acceptance levels are, like, off the charts. Cranked up to 11, right?
Bold of you to assume I do not already have a best spider friend.
Really?
Yes. A good kid with pretty outrageous ideas, but he cares deeply for his friends.
Sounds like a cool guy. Maybe we can hang out sometime.
Peter, it is you.
Oh, yeah, of course. I got that. Was totally confident about that. So, now that we're like BFFs and all, I'm ready to hear it. What's the verdict? Give it to me straight. I can handle it. No hard feelings.
I am sorry, Peter, but...
Oh, don't be. I understand. You don't have to explain anything. It was just an honor to be nominated.
No, I meant I am sorry. I do not know what you are talking about.
Oh, right. I need to remember to say all the words. I followed your advice. I asked Robbie for help. I think he kind of liked it that someone is asking for his opinion, so double win. He had some good advice. Sparky had some questionable advice, but, you know, I made some changes and I feel more like a son now. So what do you think? Is there a place for me in the Suns after this whole apocalypse scenario is over?
It would have been an honor to have you with us, but it is wrong of me to take you away from where you truly belong.
But this is where I belong.
No, Peter. You are too much of an asset to Queens. Who will protect your neighborhood if not you?
Yeah, I know you're right. It's just, I wanted this so bad.
What is a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man without his neighborhood?
Yeah, I know it wouldn't be right to leave them to fend for themselves. Especially since there hasn't been a catastrophe-free summer in New York since, well, never.
Then it is settled. You will return to Queens.
Yeah, but on one condition. You have to visit me. Because after this is all over, I'm really going to miss you. All of you.
Robbie and I will make a trip of it. Promise.
You better. Because the two of you are the best freaking friends a Spider Kid from Queens could have.
I'm really starting to get used to this place. Sure, the dorms are cramped, but it's better than the rat-infested sewers I've spent more than a few nights in.
At least you did not have to worry about missing your train.
Well, actually, I always worried about the trains missing me. Hunter, can I ask you something?
That is the only question you do not have to ask me.
Okay. Well, how do you do it? How do you balance the pull between light and dark?
If you constantly battle your desires, you only wear yourself out. Do your best and learn to forgive yourself.
You make it sound easy.
It is not, but it is worth the work.
I'm not like some of these other heroes. I'm no Captain America. Some days, I don't even think I'm a Spider-Man.
I had not noticed.
Those heroes often do what is right, even if that means letting their greatest foe live.
I understand. You prefer to eat a foe's brains for breakfast.
Actually, I prefer chocolate chip pancakes and hash browns. Brains are a dinner food. My point is, I feel a darkness inside that I can't escape. But I can focus that hate and point it toward those who deserve it. Those who would hurt innocent lives.
A moment ago, it sounded like you actually admire Spider-Man.
Spider-Man has caused me more pain and frustration than almost anyone. But he fights to save innocent lives. As much as I sometimes want to see him suffer, I know this world needs him.
You may battle your inner demons, but you also help people.
Thanks, Hunter. I'm glad I never ate you while I was possessed by your mother.
Surprisingly, I have heard that before.
So, thanks to my other, I don't often feel the need for companionship. But you're all right, Hunter.
The feeling is mutual. I'm glad to know you will not eat my brain anytime soon.
Of course not. I had half a lobe yesterday.
I never used to trust anyone unless they had a rough childhood.
Really?
Don't act so surprised. I'm capable of trusting people.
I meant, why did you feel that way?
Oh, I used to think people with easy childhoods were soft, that they blow over as soon as anything went wrong. I didn't hate them, but I barely saw them as human.
People can fracture under pressure. Better to know that early so you do not crumble later in life.
A fractured bone doesn't heal any stronger. Sometimes it never fully heals. Truth is, I never had it easy and was jealous of those who did. Took me a while to figure that out. How about you? Not counting Ileana, your childhood was the roughest of the Midnight Suns. Do you find it harder to trust?
Maybe 3 centuries ago, but that is no longer how I see it.
You think dying put what matters into perspective?
Could be. Or maybe Nico's role in my resurrection gave me a bit of her optimism.
You're lucky if it did. She has enough to keep us going, but not so much to be annoying. I respect that. There better be a next time.
Are you all right? You have not said much.
It's hard to explain.
You could try.
The Abbey is just... I don't know how to put this, but it's too quiet.
The Abbey is unnerving for many reasons, but the silence late at night can be overwhelming.
Glad it's not just me. I think I'm homesick. This is the longest I've ever been from the neighborhood, from Gabe. I think it's getting to me. I know I can't go home until this is over, but knowing doesn't make it easier.
All right, where is Magic?
No idea. Why?
You're going to stop my mother, right now. Then we will get you home.
Hunter, I appreciate the initiative, but I don't think we're ready for that quite yet.
Methodical preparation is the smarter approach. Perhaps we can try tomorrow.
Hey, after all this, if you ever need to get away, you're always welcome to crash at my place.
Are you certain?
Friends are always welcome in my home. Oh, speaking of which, you and Parker will need to fight over who gets the couch and who gets the air mattress. It's the perfect gift.
When was the last time you took a break?
No time to pause when we have a task at hand.
The unfortunate side of our profession. Take it from me, an aspiring workaholic, it can get addictive. That is why I'm already planning a pretty great R&R when all of this is over. Someplace warm with an endless supply of those tiny drink umbrellas. But I'm open to suggestions.
From me?
Who else? I'm not leaving you behind.
Maybe it is in my nature, but I feel more relaxed in cold weather.
A northeasterner through and through, if that's a thing. No problem. I make a mean hot chocolate. The best you've ever had after a day of cross-country skiing. Who would have thought I would be excited to go on a vacation with my enemy's kid? No offense.
None was taken.
So, your game?
How can I say no?
Perfect, because I wasn't taking no for an answer. Ah, I just love it when a plan comes together. Especially one that involves you, Hunter.
Thanks for meeting me out here.
Of course, Robbie. What is on your mind?
I woke up with this funny feeling this morning.
Oh, and what was that?
Well, I got out of bed, got dressed, looked in the mirror, and saw the Ghost Rider standing before me. You know, the real deal. And you know, it didn't feel weird. It was like I knew I could handle anything the day handed to me. No problem. What's with that?
I am pretty sure it is called confidence, Robbie.
Oh, so that's what confidence feels like? I don't think I've felt it before. Not like this anyway. Guess the confidence you had in me was contagious.
I am heartened to hear that, Robbie, but you overcame your own demons. No offense to Sparky, of course. The credit goes all to you.
You know, I was thinking, once all of this is over, I'm gonna go back to my old stomping ground, have my very own homecoming moment.
Ready for your hero's welcome?
Ready for some neighborhood deep cleaning? You should come with. Got plenty of bad guys in East LA that are long due for a tune-up from our badass hunter Ghost Rider duo.
We are one deadly duo, or should I say more like a trio with the spirit.
Duo, trio, all the same. Me and Sparky both know who's the Ghost Rider, right? He says right. And a few other things, but we agree on the basics. The Ghost Rider is Robbie Reyes, and I'm ready to bring some of that back home.
And I look forward to helping you do that someday.
Well, we're both gonna have to wait a minute on that. This flaming gearhead ain't riding off to the sunset before we finish what we started. And as always, I've got your back.
The other day, I accidentally bumped into Blade, and he looked at me like I'd farted.
I would not take offense.
Yeah, I know that's his default expression, but Blade and I have gone toe-to-toe enough that I know when he's really upset, and when he's at his base level of grump.
You have also fought Spider-Man. Who is tougher?
I am.
Okay, but seriously, who did you have a harder time fighting?
Probably Blade. Spider-Man may actually be stronger. He's one of the most capable heroes I know, but he doubts himself. Blade is just mean, and he knows it.
And that makes him tougher.
Not tougher. He just knows your weaknesses, and he isn't afraid to exploit them.
Do we need to draw a line down the middle of the Abbey so you each have half?
Not a bad idea. Just make sure I have the half with the restroom. All right, look, this place is full of frenemies. You can't expect us not to bump heads from time to time, but we all share the same goal.
Yes, our mission is too important. We cannot lose focus over petty squabbles.
I agree completely. Also, I want to say, I didn't do it.
You did not do what?
Whatever Blade accuses me of next, I want to get that out early. You have to introduce me to your supplier. When I was a child, we had a saying, grab an egg and shave it.
Are eggs hairier in Greece?
No, but that is the point. The expression signifies you are faced with an impossible, no-win scenario. Over the years, I have been forced to shave a lot of eggs.
Doing the impossible. Sounds familiar.
Yes, you and I have both avoided death.
Gross.
My point is that I'm constantly fighting impossible odds. And no matter how often I defy the universe, it always twists a knife deeper into my gut.
You have lived a hard life, and you deserve a rest. Do you wish to leave the group?
Oh, no. I'll fight at your side to the end. You deserve that much. I just hope our battle is over soon.
Me too. But if we travel together, maybe the journey will not feel as long.
I'm continually impressed by your counsel, Hunter. When I'm down, you find a way to make me feel better.
I'm just keeping a friend company.
You are doing more than that, and you know it. At the risk of sounding overly sentimental, let me say one last thing. When I first arrived in the Abbey, you had reservations, justifiable reservations, about letting a vampire into your home. I would not have blamed you if you had kept me on a short leash. But you welcomed me into your home and made me feel like a valued member of the team.
I would not have done any of that if you had not proven yourself more than capable both on and off the battlefield.
Even so, now you are one of my most trusted allies. Together, maybe the impossible test before us will be a little less daunting.
And with that, people, that's going to have to do it for today's episode. Hope you did enjoy these videos, and I hope you enjoyed the banter between everyone. They actually really wrote this pretty well, just to... because I know they had character, but in my opinion, they just... I just love how they went the banter between everyone, even if they had to throw installs to other people. But that's pretty much the comedy behind it. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. Take care of yourselves, and drive safely, people. Bye-bye.